Okay, can you grab the door in the back, please? Thank you.
Do you want this moved a little?
Maybe you can move this a little bit.
Just looking at the corner.
That's it. That's great. That's great. Everybody been having a good conference? Yes. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. How many of you been in the lecture before me? Whoa, be careful now, don't trip. How many of you been in the lecture before me? Was very, very good lecture, wasn't it? It was very, very interesting lecture. We talked about the past and fulfilling a prophecy right now. Now I want to shift gear with you and speak with you just for a few moments about the future. How many of you believe that the future is important? We can look in the rear mirror, that's great. But how many of you believe we need to look forward now? Yes? So those of you who don't know me, I am the author of The Return of the Kosher Pig. As you can see, I found a really good usage for my book. It's used as a stand. I knew that this book will be used one day for something good. So here you go. We finally did that. But all kidding aside, if you have not read The Return of the Kosher Pig, you need to read The Return of the Kosher Pig. I am in the marketplace. Come and see us. We have fantastic resources. I'm the founder of Ahavat Ammi Ministries. It's a Jewish organization that is focused on the reconciliation between Yeshua and the Jewish people. How many of you know that that's why you're in the room today? Is that important for Yeshua to reconcile back to the Jewish people? Yes. Right? Very, very important. So I'll tell you something that we're going to, just something that might be interesting to you. I'm also the founder of Yeshivat Shuvu. Matter of fact, I have quite a few people here in the room that are my students. Anybody who my student, can you stand up for a second? I want you to see all of our students. Stand up. Stand up, Luis. This is all my students of Yeshivat Shuvu. I can tell you that Yeshivat Shuvu is the greatest Messianic yeshiva to come and learn. So talk to them. Yeah, make some noise. But if you're interested in learning about the largest Messianic Jewish yeshiva in the world, here you go. I have a flyer for you. It's going to be available here. This is your opportunity. You can be cheap on your gasoline. You can be cheap on your Starbucks. Don't be cheap on your Starbucks. But when it comes to your spiritual education, you must invest in it. Amen? Amen. And that's one of the things that I want to talk to you about today. In the case for Gmilut Chasadim, Mashiach now. Can we say Mashiach now? Mashiach now. No, you don't want Mashiach. Okay. Can you say Mashiach now? Mashiach now. How many of us want Mashiach to return? Amen. So, we have been talking, even in the last lecture, about seeing the Mashiach through the Tanakh. When Yeshua walked on the face of the earth, what did he have? He had the Tanakh. He opened the Tanakh and he said, this and that and this and that. This is all pointing to me. Our job now is to understand how to reveal Yeshua to the world, specifically to the Jewish people. I want to tell you something. Each and every one of you here who is sitting right now in a chair have a call that is unique. It's a divine call from God. Each and every one of you have it, to be a person that not just looking ahead, but bringing prophecy, the fulfillment of prophecy forward in the last days. So say yourself right now, I'm in the game. Are you in the game? In the game. Are you in the game? Yes. I want to talk to you today about a different topic, a very practical notes that I have for you today. The coming of Mashiach. I want to tell you what's happening in Israel. I work all over the world, and we are seeing right now in Israel something that we have not seen probably for the last 2,000 years. Jewish people who are zealous for Moses. It says in the book of Acts chapter 21, how many tens of thousands believe, and they're all zealous for the Lord. Amen. Believed in what? Believe in the Torah of Moshe. Yeah. Just because you believe in Moshe Rabbeinu, it doesn't mean you're not going to believe in Yeshua. And we're seeing in these last days an awakening among Jewish people who hold Moses in one hand and Yeshua in another way. By the way, how many of you believe that when Yeshua coming, it says that the saints are coming with him? Have you ever heard this song? And when the saints are marked. It sounds so I'm Jewish, the song. But have you ever asked yourself the question, who are the saints who are coming with Yeshua? Who's the saints who are coming with Yeshua? Anybody know? Let me tell you who the saints coming with Yeshua. Moses is coming with Yeshua. And nobody is going to sing the song of the Lamb unless you know the song of Moses. The coming of Mashiach should be our text. Now it says that, what is the theme for this conference? Anybody know what psalm it is? How many of you listened to Rabbi Feldman this morning? What did he say? Psalm 13, which says that the Lord is dealing with us, the word there in English, bountifully. Bountifully. You know, this word is a funny word. Bountifully. I looked at the Hebrew on the word bountifully. What is the meaning beyond the word bountifully? There is an important pattern. And you know, the word of God is made out of pattern. Prophecy is made out of patterns. There's an underlying pattern even to understand the importance of prophecy. Are you ready? Ma shehaya yihiyeh. You want to learn what's going to happen? Learn what's happened. History repeating itself. Prophecy is not linear. Prophecy is circular. Okay? Please understand this. So it says there's a big law in Judaism that says Siman Avot Maaseh Labanim. The signs of the father, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is what happened to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob will be a sign for the sons. We today. Why do we study Torah? Because the Torah does not just come to tell us the things that has happened, like they are passed away, but those are things that we can learn. We can learn from the challenges of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, even to see where they fell down, so we can overcome and to hasten the coming of Messiah. The important pattern, there is an important pattern and blueprint for God Geulah. Geulah is redemption. Think about a redemption like an Israeli salad. How many of you ever had Israeli salad? Yeah. What do you put in Israeli salad? Tomato, cucumber, parsley. You know what else? Onion, lemon, what else? What? No. That's become now not an Israeli salad. You don't put grapes in Israeli salad. And then you smell it and you see something missing. The tahini sauce is missing. The Geulah is like the Israeli salad. You have to have all the ingredients in place in order to have this perfect meshing together. I want to tell you for a few moments today about God's plan to the Geulah on this verse that is the keynote, this the key verse for this conference. The Lord has dealt bountifully with me. Have you ever asked and stopped the question, why do we need a Geulah? Why do we need a redemption? Why Hashem, may His name be blessed, has been so merciful to me? Why have I found mercy in the eyes of God? Do you ask yourself the question, why wasn't my grandfather? I ask myself that question again. Who am I? My grandfather was a rabbi. Why wasn't he who saw Yeshua? Why me? Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, why are you? Why God has been so merciful to you? To show you who is the Mashiach. Most importantly, or more importantly, have you ever stopped and asked a question? It says the Lord has been dealing bountifully with him. King David's cry out. What does one need to do to receive salvation and mercy? Are you sure you are saved today? Yeah, I'm going to ask the very difficult question. What does it mean to be saved? How do you know that you receive mercy? And what is the connection? Here's the big one. I want you to think about those questions. What is the connection between the Lord, who is dealing bountifully with us, and the coming of the Mashiach? There is a tavnit, a blueprint, a pattern between God bountifully, the way He deals with us, to the coming of the Mashiach. There is a formula, there is a pattern, and we're going to get to this. It's important to us when we read this psalm. in Tehillim, because I think Rabbi Feldman did a good job this morning, but something was missed in verse 5 and 6, where I want to look at you in a second together. So let's turn for a second to Tehillim. Go to the next slide, please. And he says, "Ve'ani bechasdecha batachti." I trust in your chesed, in your mercy, in your grace. Yagel libi beyeshuatecha. Ashir ala Adonai ki gamal alai. Because he has dealt bountifully with me. Now remember what I tell you, that everything in the kingdom of God has an order. בראשית ברא אלוקים את השמיים ואת הארץ. There was תוהו ובוהו, רוח אלוהים מרחף. There is an order for creation. Why? Because God is a king. And that means that he has a kingdom. And in a kingdom there is an order. Just there was an order when he created heaven and earth, there is going to be an order that will bring the future Geulah, the future redemption to Israel. The question is, you see, we can focus on David's despair in the very first verses, but I want to focus on verse 6 in this text on Psalm 13 for a minute. The formula and the pattern is the pattern to bring the Geulah into existence. Think about this. You realize Geulah is not something you think. Think about the word in Hebrew, reality. The word in Hebrew, reality. Metziut. Motzi, what's coming out of you. Ot, letter, the word, the speech. We create the reality. By the power of the tongue, we bring Mashiach. By our action, we hasten his coming. I know that Rabbi Larry said this morning that he's going to do things whenever he feel like, I ever feel like, but no. If we're in covenant, in partnership with God, guess what? In a partnership, one part looking for the other part to act, and the one action prompt reaction from the other party. It's like a marriage, right? So what does this pattern look like? I want you to look at this today because this is important. Look at the first part of this verse. Ve'ani bechasdecha batachti, and then it says in Hebrew, Yagel libi, which is translated, my heart shall be rejoiced. I want you to learn with me this word in Hebrew, Yagel. The word in Hebrew, Yagel, comes from the Hebrew word Gil. Do you know what the Hebrew Gil mean? The Gil mean joy. Before David received salvation, before there is salvation, there is Gil, or there is joy. How many of you want to receive the spirit of grace and mercy? Let me tell you something. One cannot receive spirit of grace and mercy unless he first receives the spirit of Gil, of joy. So the question now becomes, if this is the pattern, and now you understand that there is an order, how does one receive joy? How many of you want to receive joy? Let me say it to you in a simple way. If there is no joy, there is no salvation. Shockingly, we learned something from our sages about this word Gil. I want you to listen to the commentary of Malbim. The Malbim, a very important early 19th century commentator from Romania, on very, very important on the entire Tanakh, on the Pshat. And he says on the word, on the joy. What does the joy look like, right? His joy is happiness. What is this joy? If joy is a prerequisite to receive the salvation, how does one receive it? Shockingly, the Malbim said, go to the next slide, and I will read. He says, Agil, or I took the liberty to paraphrase it to you. Agil, the joy that one receive on good thing that he didn't hope for. Like Besora Tova, like the good news. Hello? Like good news that are pitomiyot. They are unexpected. Some good news that are unexpected are going to bring joy that should lead us to salvation. Do you want to know what the goal of the good news, friends? How many of you heard the gospel? The gospel, the gospel. The gospel news, first and foremost, are to increase the joy in the heart of the believer, in the heart of the person who believes. Because it gives hope. The Besorah Tova, it's called Besorah Tova Pitomi, is unexpected. Please expand us. The reason that the Jewish people have a hard time to receive Yeshua, because the Besorah Tova came out of nowhere. They expected a Bar Kochva, and instead of that they receive a Galilean. How many of you know that that is unexpected? We cannot hope for anything. Let me tell you something today. Drop your high, it's not expectation. What is the word I'm looking for? The bar from God. God is the one who set the bar. God is the one who set the standard. And when you yourself said, I have no expectation, but my expectation are for you to exceed the expectation. Let me say it again. The only expectation that you should have from God is to exceed the expectation. How many of you today expecting God to exceed everything? Yes? Amen. That's what happened here. Have you ever had somebody giving you a gift and you say, I don't expect it. This is like out of left field. This is exactly what's happening here to David HaMelech. David HaMelech, he's saying, whoa, I didn't expect that. Boom! The Malbim actually continue. Look at that. Go to the next slide. It says, he, and I'm paraphrasing, he is joyful on something that he did not expect. Shelo kiva alav. From the source of grace, and not from recompensing, but from mercy that he did not earn. Let me tell you something. That's the entire point of Paul in the letter to the Galatians. He said, you didn't earn nothing. Don't try to earn something that you cannot earn. And the same is true to the Jewish people. And it's standing to you, the Gentiles in the room who are just walking now, starting to working into a covenantal relation. Don't try to earn anything because you can't earn a thing. Should we not do it? No, chas v'chalila. We should still do those things. But what is really happening here in David HaMelech says, I got to the point that I come and understand the only way that I can receive the Yeshua is through the Simcha. And the only way I can receive the Simcha is I receive it by trusting in your Chesed and Chesed alone. We forget the gift of the Chesed. And look what it says. It says, go back to slides. It says, go back to the verse there. Yagel libi. So now you understand something unexpected happened here to David HaMelech. When something unexpected happened to us and we receive gil, abundant joy, what's the next word? Yeshua techa. The Yeshua appear. Did you ever stop and think how many expectations we put upon God? Sometimes husband put too much expectation upon their wife and wife upon others. And what happened? The marriage go under strain. God said, don't do that. Expect the unexpected. That should be our mode. You know, I have this expression in our ministry, we never have a dull moment. Every day something happens in our ministry. And that's our mode of operation. We're expecting the unexpected. And I think somewhere the body of Messiah start to build their own expectation instead to expect the unexpected. That's the only expectation you should have. The first part here, so look what happened, David HaMelech said, is Yeshua. Yeshua, salvation. Yeshua is not salvation, by the way. Yeshua is salvation. Yeshua, make yourself a formula, right? We're working on a pattern here. Yeshua has to do with gil, joy. One have to express joy in order to receive Yeshua. And then if we got big law in Judaism says, Rabbi Nachman, what he says? He says, mitzvah gdola lihiyot besimcha. A great mitzvah is to be in joy. But now we have this question, for what? Just so I will say, have a Nagila, I am saved, I am saved, I am saved. Is that the real crack here? Is that why we need to be in joy? Why did we receive Yeshua? Yeshua, why did we receive it? So just in order to be saved? Let me tell you something. If you believe that you received Yeshua for the reason to be saved alone, you have missed the point. Everybody needs to understand something. Mashiach is the tool. It's like a vessel. Mashiach is not the end goal. I know it's something that sounds crazy to some of you, but you have to understand, Mashiach is the vessel, but is not what inside the vessel. What do we say in the end of the Torah Sefer? Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. What inside the vessel? Look what it says in Pirkei Avot. Go to the next slide for me, please. I love this. I think we need to consider this. Go. Said Rabbi Meir, look not at the vessel, but look at what is contained. אל תסתכל בקנקן, אלא מה שבתוכו. There are new vessels that are filled with old wine, and there are old vessels who do not even contain new wine. The million question we need to ask ourselves, what is inside the vessel? And I will tell you something, inside the vessel is not the salvation. It is not your personal salvation. Mashiach is merely a tool or a vessel. But the claim I would like to tell you today might shock you today. In this conference, this is a Messianic conference. But the essence, what is inside the vessel, is not that we know Yeshua. You know, first time I walk into a Messianic congregation, before I knew who is the Mashiach, they asked me, excuse me, are you saved? I looked at the person like he's crazy. What kind of a Jew asks those kind of questions? We are practically buddies. Or, excuse me, sir, do you know the Lord? Yeah, we're practically buddy. We just did Shacharit this morning. No. Those kind of questions are missing the essence of why Mashiach come and what is our job in the last day. The Mashiach is the tool. Write yourself in your note. The Mashiach is actually the keli. He is the tool that is used to fill the vessel. Who is the vessel? You are the vessel. What is the tool that is used? Mashiach is the tool. And it is different, you see, for Christians and for Messianic believers, it's starting with us being unsaved, and it's ending with us being saved. And then we say, sei gesund, I have no story, let's do Hava Nagila. By the way, how many of you read Jeremiah 31? A promise of a new covenant. Amen? How many of you are excited about the new covenant? How many of you believe we are under this new covenant? Amen? Wrong. Are you actually read what it says in Jeremiah 31, 33? It's with the house of Israel and Judah. And it said they will know me from the greatest of them to the least of them. Jeremiah 31, 33 has not been fulfilled yet. What is this vessel? In Judaism, when God created Adam, the world was in a state that is called in Hebrew, Shvirat HaKelim. The world is in perfection. God created Adam. Adam is there just to pick up the sparks of holiness. Everything is readily. Adam sinned. Why do we need Mashiach? Look what it says. What does it say? It says, Ve'ruach Elokim merachefet al pnei haaretz. What is the Ruach Elokim? All the Jewish commentators come and tell us, as I wrote in the Return of the Kosher Pig, that the Ruach Elokim, it says, Ze Rucho Shel Mashiach. It is the spirit of Mashiach. And what's the next verse says? There was Tov Vavo. What's Tov Vavo? Chaos. The job of man, the reason Adam was created, is to be able to go into the Tovavo and use the right tool, which is the Ruach Elohim, the Spirit of Messiah, and pull out the spark of holiness to perfect reunification with God. Now, one of you will ask the question, couldn't God create this in perfection? Why does he need somebody to pull those sparks? Because God wanted us to do it. Because we have been in covenant and partnership with God from the very, very beginning. For a Jew, the job today is in the world, you heard it before and I'll tell you again, is to fulfill the mitzvah. It's to do the mitzvot. Why? Because every time we find something in the dark and we pull it out from darkness into light, in essence we have brought a spark of Messiah. Well, we can't do it today. What do we need in order to do it? That's why we need the Mashiach. The Mashiach is the tool. If you ever went and dig in a sandbox, and you said as a kid, and you said, darn it, I wish I had the right tool to get a little deeper. Remember when we play in the play sense as a kids? We have the right tool. This right tool is Mashiach. And a lot of us holding this little thing, it's called Mashiach in our hand, and we think, that's it, we are one, we have Mashiach. No! Mashiach is the tool. Now you have to dig deeper and to pull out those sparks from deep, even from Sheol itself, and bring them up. What is more important? Digging up and pulling those things is what God is calling us to do that. The faster we are doing it, the faster we are hastening the coming of the Lord. I want you to notice this pattern in Tehillim 13. It says, my soul shall rejoice. By the way, what day is today? What is the date today? When? Mishe nichnas adar. Mishe. Let's say teacher. Mishe nichnas adar. Nichnas adar mar binanu besimcha. What did it says in Ta'anit 29? Do you know that on Thursday night it was a new rule? Rosh Chodesh? God calendar, not Rabbi Shapira calendar, not your calendar, God calendar. And what did he say? As we enter into Adar, we are commanded to be abundant with joy. Why the rabbis kept on telling us that we have to focus on joy? Because joy is the catalyst that we're going to bring Yeshua to the world. Why we are commanded to have abundant joy? Why not just a regular joy? Where is it commanded anyway? Is it just one of this rabbinical hocus pocus? I want to tell you something. You notice this pattern. This week we're in Parashat Truma. And I want you to notice in Exodus 24, it says, Va'am ya'amod merachok. They are standing from afar. And all of a sudden in 25 Parashat Truma, we're seeing an amazing pattern. All of a sudden, all the people start to work together. There is a big conflict about this in Judaism. What was more important? The work, or the fact that it's in verse 8 and 25, it says that the Spirit of the Lord was within the people. He built the tabernacle within the people. The rabbis came and they explained to us that the point of the matter was not that the Spirit of the Lord was with them. The Spirit of God is always with them. The point of the matter was that they were far, but as they came forward, they came in and they gave it, the word in Hebrew is nedavah. You know, nedavah is not an offering. Nedavah is something you give with joy and with your happiness. When the happiness broke in, can you even imagine them building the Mishkan and there is joy and the people give and say, we cannot give anymore. There's so much joy in the camp of Israel. And there is a passage in Number Rabbah 14 that says that the very first time that the Shekhinah fell upon Israel, it was the day that Israel was abundant in joy. This is not a rabbinical interpretation. Look what it says in Yochanan. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now, continue. Now, remain in my love. If you keep my mitzvot, you will remain in my love. Just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you so that your joy, here you go, look at that. So that your joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. This is from the rabbi, our chief rabbi. Without simcha, there is no geulah. Look at this, there is an amazing pattern here. He says that if you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love. And he's talking about, what mitzvot is he talking about when he's talking about commandments? You want to guess? Which mitzvot is he talking about? The Torah. Thank you very much. That we can see a very important pattern here. Go. The mitzvah, if one fulfilled the mitzvah properly, it should lead to a simcha, or joy, which equal to the Torah, which will hasten the coming of the Yeshua, of the redemption. You know, when I was a kid, they put us in the synagogue, and we have this thing, it's called Dan Chaschan, which you probably don't know what it is, unless you're born in Israel. Oh, you count? Oh, sure. Dan Chaschan, it's like a piggy bank, but we don't call it piggy bank in Israel. It doesn't sound kosher. And I was a proud member of the mitzvah club. Every Shabbat, or as you say down south here, Shabbos. Every Shabbat the rabbi came and said, what mitzvah you did? And then my grandfather went and gave a shekel, and he took it and he put it in the Dan Chaschan. When I got it's like abacus? Yeah, when I got a full thing, then we had a big party in the Bet Knesset. There is a spiritual bank, friends. And a spiritual bank, every time we do a mitzvah, you don't even realize. A mitzvah with the right to, listen, Jewish people can do mitzvah, but when we do the mitzvah through Yeshua, the mitzvah receive a different power. Through Yeshua, the mitzvot receive another dimension. Through Yeshua, the mitzvot bring the living Torah and the simcha, and there is a joy. And when we receive the maximum, it's like a jackpot. Ding, 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 ding. You won your prize. God help the Messianic movement that we are still in kindergarten and we are asking the question, should we or shouldn't we keep Torah? What kind of shtuyat is this? Only through fulfilling the mitzvah through Yeshua, the Geulah can come. You understand what I'm saying to me? What I'm explaining to you? Yeshua is speaking about here the Holy Torah. Now, it's important to us to guard the Torah properly. And here is how many of you met a person that called himself Torah observant? Let me chuckle for a second. How many of you meant Torah observant? I'm telling you something, I travel a lot. The last 2 years I visited 31 different countries. And I came to a realization, not scientific. It's not an empirical. But usually when I meet the Torah observant people in our movement, and they say, we observe Torah. They are the most self-righteous, angry, full of, you know what? People. How do I know they don't observe the Torah? Because this Torah does not lead to joy. By the way, how do I know that the Jewish people in... Listen, I was in MJAA SW 2 weeks ago. And you go in MJAA SW and you look at the people faces. Just look at the faces. This guy called Chamutza and Chamutz, and they're all sour. How do I know that even the Haredim don't keep the right Torah? Because I don't see joy. I don't see simcha. That's why it says in Kohelet Rabbah, HaTorah she'anu lemedim kayom nikret hevel leumat Torato shel Mashiach. The Torah that we study today called vanity, against the Torah of Messiah. Beloved, you need to observe Torah. But this Torah should cause you to hop, jump up and down, and to dance for Yeshua, and to clap, and to get excited. Listen, if Chabad is going to be dancing for a rabbi that is still buried there, and he's not even with us today, but they're waiting for him to rise up every day, how much more should we have the simcha and the joy and the dvekut to do the mitzvot in a way that bring people to joy, other people to simcha? I guess what I'm asking you today, where's your joy level today? And if you don't have joy, I'm going to give you a way to get out of the slump. You ready? How many want to get out of the slump today? You want to get out of the slump? Go outside this room and do a mitzvah. Do a mitzvah. It will increase your face value. No pun intended. If a person observes mitzvot, yet there is no simcha in him, then what is the problem? He is keeping the mitzvot in the wrong framework. Look what Yeshua is saying. You go to the next slide. He's saying, Tishkon simchati bachem. What is the word Tishkon? The word Tishkon comes from the word Shachen. It's come from the word Shechina. When you do the mitzvah with the right tool, you get into the aha moment. Remember what I told you before? Yeshua is not the aha moment. There is something even more. The Shechina. You are becoming a living, holy, divine spirit walking on the face of the earth. Can you imagine that? The Shekhinah is upon you 24/7. That is the goal. In essence, if I can recap this, Messiah came to give us the right spirit. And the spirit, Tishkon, is the Shekhinah. So that we can do something with that. And what is it that we are to do? We are to fulfill the mitzvah. Right away, with the right demeanor. I say that to everybody. The one thing we cannot allow ourselves to do as a messianic movement is to be passive. Amen. Stop the passivity, stop the dragging the feet, and run and fulfill the mitzvot. With the right spirit. What is the right spirit? Now we know, it's called simcha. The issue of Torah or not Torah is irrelevant. Let's stop talking about this. The issue is through what we fulfill the mitzvah. Through Yeshua or without Yeshua. That's the only question that we as Messianic believers should ask ourselves. The notion that Yeshua just came simply to save us is wrong from its very core. Mashiach came that you and I can have the right spirit to fulfill the mitzvah and fill this piggy bank. Because when this piggy bank gets full, Mashiach is ready to return. I love it. I love what it says in Romans 7. Go there. Yeshua says, the apostle to the Gentile, the one who speaks against Torah. ובכן, התורה היא קדושה והמצווה קדושה וישרה וטובה. The Torah is holy, the commandment is holy, and the righteous is good. It's only about how we approach the Torah. If we approach the Torah and we say we approach the Torah to fill this piggy bank, and this piggy bank have a name, it's not called Louis, it's not called Vanessa, it's not called Yitzchak, it's not even called Rabbi Amnon. He might have his own thing. He's special. You know what this piggy bank called? Israel. This piggy bank called Israel. And every time you make a mitzvah and you fulfill a mitzvah, he's going into a spiritual basket, and this spiritual basket called Israel. So when you do a mitzvah, it's counting to a merit for all of Israel, even the unbelieving Israel. What a revolutionary concept that is. Are you following what I'm telling you? When you're doing a mitzvah, it's affecting the Klal Israel, all of Israel. And when you do it with the right spirit, simcha, look who you bring along with you. Go to the next verse. The word Simcha, if you flip the letter, you get the name Mashiach. If we approach the mitzvot in such a way, we're going to bring Yeshua, we're going to bring Mashiach to the world. Of course we can hasten the coming of Mashiach. Yeshua has been ready for 2,000 years. We are not ready. Do we rejoice today in Him? The very first step in the Geulah. By the way, what is the month of the Geulah? Nisan. What's the month before Nisan? Adar. What does the word Nisan mean? Nisan comes from the Hebrew word Nes. Miracle. How many of you want to see miracles? We are seeing in our ministry miracles every day. Just last week, 4 Haredic Jews received Yeshua.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Wow, Rabbi Shapira. Amazing. No. Baloney. Each and every one of us can see the miracle. But you see, before we can get to Nisan, to the Nisim, we have to have Adar, Simcha. Simcha come before miracle. If you observe the Lord with joy and gladness and happiness, you will. Money in the bank. You will see the hand of God moving in a supernatural way. Ask yourself the question. Do you live a life that is full of joyfulness? Your personal simcha means that you bring Mashiach to the world. And when you bring your personal simcha, you bring Mashiach, ultimately it's filling this piggy bank called Israel, who will lead to the corporal Geulah, the corporal redemption of the entire house of Israel. Friends, what I'm telling you today is not theoretical. I am telling you this as a witness for heavens. I want to see thy corporate Geulah. So what if I have my personal Geulah? Paul says, so all of Israel shall be saved. I want to see all of my Israel being saved. I want to see my family being saved. I want to see every Jew in the world coming to know HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not just one. You see, we are right now in Adar. We are in a prophetic season of Adar. Look what it says in Yirmiyahu. It goes to the next. Alo me'ata karata li avi aluf. You are called aluf. What is the word aluf? He is the champion. Chazal came, our sages explained to it, that the word Adar is divided into 2 words. Aleph, for the name of God. God's name is Aluf. That's what is called in Yirmiyahu 51. It's called the Aluf, the champion, who is Dar. The Dar means he dwell. The champion who is dwelling inside of you. Let me tell you something. If the champion is dwelling inside of you today, you will be able. Say, I will. Say it with me. I will be able to fulfill the mitzvot. I will have joy. And I will be responsible for the salvation of the house of Israel. Not because of who you are, the one who lives inside you. You see, that's why you receive Yeshua. You receive Yeshua so that you do something with the knowledge of Yeshua. And what are you going to do with the knowledge of Yeshua? You're going to bring the knowledge of the champion to the world. And a matter of fact, you notice here in the prayer, it's very, very important in this prayer that is mentioned, the David prayer. Can you go to the very, very, very beginning? Go all the way to the beginning. Now that you understand it, I want you to see what David HaMelech said here. Keep on going. Keep on going. He says, now you understand that joy is going to lead to Yeshua, to the Yeshua Techa. It's going to lead to the salvation. Now you understand that each one of you can contribute to the corporal salvation of the house of Israel. But look what it says. Ashira le'Adonai ki gamal alai. Those of you who know Judaism, you know that we pray certain prayers several times a day. One of those prayers that we pray several times a day is called the Amidah prayer. How many benedictions are in the Amidah prayer? Anybody know? No? 19. 19. The very first section of the Amidah, anybody know what it's called? It's called the Ahavat. I want you to look with me for a second in the words of the Ahavat. Go back. This is important. Yeah, keep on going, keep on going. It says, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, הוא זוכר חסדי אבות, הוא מביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם. Go to the next layer. Blessed are, I want us to proclaim those words together. Go back, go up, go up. Go forward. Tell me, do I need to do everything myself? Oh, okay, you don't have it. Okay. Blessed are you, Lord our God, God of our father, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, the great, mighty, and awesome God, the Most High God, who bestows grace and creates all, and remember the devotion of the fathers, and bring Redeemer to their children for His namesake. His namesake is life. What is the goal of this prayer? What is this prayer is about? Anybody know? What is the point of this prayer? That He promised us that He is going to bring a Redeemer to the children of Israel in the future. The question today is, how is He going to fulfill this? He says in the prayer, He is the purchaser of all things. This is a prayer that introduces to a concept that David spoke about called Gmilut Chasadim. David says, Gamal alai, you have given me something that I don't deserve. Let me ask you a question. What do I deserve? What do you deserve today? What any of us deserve today? Honestly. We deserve that. We deserve that penalty, all of us. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu has done with each and every one of us here in the room a miracle, and He's giving us Gmilut Chasadim. He's giving us something we don't deserve. He's giving us life. But remember, I asked the question again, why? So that you will be responsible for the salvation of Israel. But there is more. Why did He do something so extreme as sending His Son, His only beloved and begotten Son, for us? Please understand this. In conclusion, the Gmilut Chasadim that is done for us serve today as a constant reminder for the Gmilut Chasadim that we should extend for one another. The entire point of David the Melech is not that David will be saved. That's not the point. The point is to remind David the Gmilut Chasadim that God is giving to him, so that David will be able to extend the same Gmilut Chasadim to the world around him, because that's what a Mashiach does. In essence, we can bring the Goel today. That is the point. How do we bring the Goel today? Because reminding to us that we receive grace that is not deserved. We receive a grace that is not deserved. And He's saying here in the prayer, as you receive a grace that is not deserved, v'koneh akol, and a purchaser of all things, you are going to give to the world a grace that is not deserved. And through this action, and this action alone, you bring the Mashiach. In essence, you can be joyful and you can be happy. But at the end of the day, if you're joyful and you are happy, and you do not extend grace to your brother, God forbid, it's all falling apart. We bring Mashiach to the world, and we in essence become the Mashiach to the world around us when we extend grace. Look at this. The prayer says, purchaser on God. It says, purchaser of all things. Where is it coming from? This word, purchaser of all things, is just some nice rabbinical term. No, it's found in the Bible. Look at Genesis 14. It says, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine. They're doing the very first Kiddush. And he was priest of God, the Most High. And look what he said to them. He blessed him and said, Baruch Avram. He's not even Abraham yet. Baruch Avram le'el elyon, koneh shamayim v'haaretz. What did he do? He says that Abraham was the purchaser of heaven and earth. Who is the purchaser of heaven? Isn't the heavenlies belong to God? No. When we do an act of Gmilut Chasadim, and just remind you the context of the story in case you missed the point. Lot cheated Abraham. He was a terrible, terrible in-law for Avraham Avinu. He betrayed him and he cheated him. Yet, when it's come to crunch time, Abraham had a choice to make. Is he going to forgive him? And is he going to redeem him? And it says in the text that he chased him all the way to the place called Chovah. Chovah. Chovah means accountability, a place that he owed him. He took upon himself the burden of Lot. And what the Malach says to him, he says, blessed you be, Abraham. You purchase him for the kingdom. Our Jewish people today need to be purchased for the kingdom. And the only way we can do it is not by preaching at them, showing them mitzvot. Mitzvot in the right demeanor. You see, if Abraham would go forward and he did the mitzvah, but he did it in the wrong heart, it would mean nothing. Would mean absolutely nothing. Through Gmilut Chasadim. And that's why David says, you, ata gamalta. You gamalta. Because he wanted David to remind it for the rest of his life that none of us are all promised anything. We do not deserve anything. And when your brother wronged you, turn the other cheek. And when your brother hurt you, rejoice. It's hard. But that's what's going to bring Mashiach to the world. Humility. Not theology. Through the act of Gmilut Chasadim, here in the example of Avraham Avinu, Abraham became the Mashiach. Abraham is the very first Mashiach. He's becoming a messianic figure. Yeshua is here today. Can you say Yeshua is here today? You are Yeshua, and you are Yeshua, and you are Yeshua. We all have the DNA of Yeshua, if we choose to accept it. And through this act, the single act of Gmilut Chasadim, we can hasten the coming of the Lord. Look what it says in the Lord, Parashat Azinu, and the very, very end. It says, Moses standing, say, Azinu Hashamayim. He speaks to heavens before he speaks to earth, and he says, Kenesher Yair Kino. As an eagle stir up his nest, hover over the young, he spread his wing, catches him, lift him up on his pinion. In essence, God is hovering over the heavens, and he's looking and saying, are they ready? Oh, they're not ready. Not enough Gmilut Chasadim. Let me check the piggy bank. The piggy bank is not ready yet. Please understand something. Yeshua is ready. Hashem is ready for his ultimate revelation, and he has gave us the greatest tool. This tool is called Yeshua. But the second, when we make the Yeshua the final and the end goal, we miss the point of Yeshua. There is no need anymore for Yeshua, because we make Yeshua, basically we misuse the tool. Yeshua has come so that God will look down and will see the attribute of Yeshua in us. And what is this attribute? Simcha, Gmilut Chasadim, all of those things are leading the Lord to come and to come back. That's why in the letter to the community in Galatia, Shaul said the following. Next slide. He says, Se'u ish et masar re'eu, ken tekaimu et Torat HaMashiach. You bear your brother's burdens. And in this way, you fulfill the essence, the very, very essence of the Torah. When we do that, when we carry on our back somebody else's tzuris, and specifically the Jewish people tzuris, guess what we're doing? We fulfilling the Torah for its own sake. What I'm challenging you today is simple. Do you want to see Messiah come? I'm sure that everybody here in the room will say yes and amen, right? In order to say yes and amen, you need to understand that God has created each and every one of you in a most unique way right now. And He's giving you something you don't deserve. Yeshua. You don't deserve Yeshua. I don't deserve Yeshua. None of us do. But now that we received Yeshua, we must do something with this Yeshua. And that's mean fulfill the mitzvot through Him, walking humbly through Him, purchasing neshamot through Him. Remember later on in the text when the Malachim or the Malachim showed up, He planted in Genesis 21 a tamarisk tree, Eshel, acronym for Ein Shin Lamed. Achila, Shtiya, Livui. He met their physical need. He met their spiritual need. And He went the extra mile. My question for us here today, honestly, why are we in the Messianic movement? What are we hope to achieve? Why are you here today? Are you here for yourself? Or are you here to fulfill the piggy bank of the house of Israel? So hopefully the piggy bank, the pig will be kosher again, no pun intended. Are you with me? Are you ready to do this task? This is the task that you call to. Paul challenged us, and I'll close with the word of Rav Shaul in Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 9. He says, who is equal for a task like this? He called you by name. He is calling you. Evaluate throughout this weekend your personal simcha level. Where's your joy today? Where's the simcha? The higher your simcha, the higher the Mashiach. That's your Mashiach barometer. Okay, the greater simcha in you, the greater the Mashiach barometer is in you. And ultimately, when the Mashiach barometer gets so high, you can even do a Gmilut Chasadim. You can even fulfill the mitzvot. You can do all things through Yeshua. That's why Yeshua says, right? What did He say? He says in Yochanan 14 something that people don't understand. That you will be able to do greater things than I did. How can it be possible that we can do greater things than Mashiach did? I'll explain to you. Judaism developed this Hasidic Judaism developed this concept that when you are connected to your rabbi in such a unique way, you get all your powers from your rabbi. But you get more powers than your rabbi. For example, when the Israelites went outside the wilderness, everybody get the gold. Such a Jewish thing. Get the gold, get the gold, get the gold. What Moshe Rabbeinu does? Go get the bones of Joseph. All the powers are through Joseph because he connects himself to Joseph. If you connect yourself to Yeshua, yes, it's very likely you will have to suffer like Yeshua. Yes, you will be rejected. Yes, you will be despised. Yes, people will curse you. Yes, people will mock you. But at the end of the day, you will be victorious. And that's what God wants. You will be the Mashiach to the world. So stop looking for Mashiach in heaven. Look inside yourself. Each and every one of you in this room are a picture of Mashiach. Avinu Shebashamayim, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We bless the name of the mighty one of Israel. Let's stand. Let's stand right now. Avinu Shebashamayim. I want to intercede and plead for every man and woman here today, right now, who don't have in great capacity to fulfill the Torah in a greater way, increase our joy. And may we see the month of Geulah, Nisan, bring Nisim v'Niflaot upon us and upon all of Israel. In the merit of Yeshua, we pray those things. Amen ve'amen ken yehi ratzon. Thank you. Thank you.